Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, and that means that it's time for me to take another movie from my collection and make a poster out of it. You may have noticed that there are no posters behind me. That is because I'm probably going to be reworking a couple of things on this wall. I might change the order of them. I haven't really decided yet. For the poster we're going to be making today, the design style, I'm going to be thinking probably maybe a Swiss design poster or something like that. I haven't really fully decided yet. I'm just going to see what the poster inspires me to do. Before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Now, let's head over to the randomizer. Alright, so I have all of my movies here selected on my spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and hit copy, and come over here to the randomizer and hit paste, and we're going to pick a random item from the list. A Kid in King Arthur's Court. So this is a movie that came out in the 1995, I believe it was, or 94, 95, something like that. I just watched this recently with my daughter. Alright, so A Kid in King Arthur's Court. I have had this DVD for probably close to 20 years. I remember I bought it on the day of release, and I was super excited when it came out on DVD because that used to be a thing. People used to get excited about DVD releases. Alright, so let's head over to Pinterest, and I'm actually going to see what kind of ideas that I can get for a poster that we're going to be making based on this movie. Alright, so I'm here on Pinterest, and I'm actually going to go a little bit deeper down. What I did was I went to all pins, not just the ones that I've pinned on my cool poster board, because I just want to see if I can get any ideas from really any of the pins that I've pinned on this, because it's a very strong medieval knights and castles type of theme. So I'd like to see if first off, I'd like to see if I've even pinned anything like that. Alright, so I found this one I thought was pretty interesting. I like how they've got this letter A that's kind of sliced in half right here, and then they've got a whole bunch of text that's just kind of listed down. But I think I'm just going to use this as inspiration. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's head over to Illustrator, and I am actually going to make this 18 by 27, just to maybe make it a little bit more classy looking, for a classy poster for a classy movie. I mean, it does have Kate Winslet in it, so there you go. It's classy. All right. So as far as the color scheme goes, we're not necessarily too locked into a color scheme here, but I think I will maybe search for like a medieval color palette or something like that. All right, so I found this medieval color palette right here, and let's see what we can do. That's actually pretty cool. I like this one. So this one seems to cover, like all the basic colors that are on the DVD cover. You got your reds, yellows, greens, blues, and that right there. I think I may change this to this gray over here to like maybe a brown or something like that, but we'll just kind of see what we've got going on here. So let's drop this into here. And I think what I'll do is I think we'll go outside of our comfort zone a little bit with the typography. I think I'll probably find like an Old English or like a black letter font to use or something like that. All right, so I'm here on Adobe Fonts, and I want to take a look at what all we have right here. Since we're doing like that nice large letter A, I want to make sure that it's obviously nice and decorative, and also at the same time very recognizable. I do like this Carol Gothic right here. That's pretty cool. There's only 2 pages here, all total of any kind of black letter fonts that we've got going on here. So I think that I'll probably go with that one, because this is a little bit too intricate for what I'm looking for. But although I really do like this right here, that's cool. I like how they've given that example of that, and I even could go that particular style. So let me activate this font right here. This is Carol Gothic. This is kind of like a real classic, black letter font. So I think I'll activate this one, and then maybe I'll even try this one and just kind of go back and forth with a couple of experiments and see what we land on. Okay, so I've got both of these listed down right here, and I can tell just by looking at these A's that I like the Carol Gothic one better than the Baroque one, at least for this particular poster, because I think that it's a little bit more closely matching to this nice tall slender A right here. And this one is a little bit more chunky, so I definitely want to go with the Carol Gothic here. So I'm going to enlarge this, and first thing I'm going to do is just create outlines. Just go ahead and get that over with. That way we're working with the true actual dimensions of this shape. All right, so I'm going to go over here to transform panel and just kind of get the placement exactly where I want it to be. I'm thinking that probably we're going to drop it from the top a little bit. Let's take a look at, I want to get some really good negative space here, probably around 2 inches by 4 inches, or maybe even 3 inches by 4 inches. Right here. And then what we're going to do, actually, I should probably do this first. So what we're going to do is we're going to just draw a box, and this will be how we actually knock this out. So we're just going to go straight down the center where that triangle is right there. And then go over here to our shape modes, and we do minus front. And now that I'm looking at this, I don't know if it's still recognizable as the letter A or not because of how intricate it is. But I am going to put this together real quick and just kind of see what we can do. I might stack each one of these individual words right here. And we'll definitely go in and fix the leading. Okay, so now that I'm looking at this with this paired with it, I do think that it is recognizable as an A. Some people might look at it and see an E, but I do want to do this real quick. If let's say that we decided to do this one, and let's take a look at, probably make it around 10 inches tall just for like a test or something like that. And see what this looks like. Okay, so pretty much looks the same, like in terms of the legibility. And in fact, it's leaving behind some artifacts that I'm not too big of a fan of. Of course, you could always fix those. You can do something like this. Just kind of bring that up here. Obviously, I would play around with that a little bit more. But I think that this is going to be totally fine. And just wanted to make sure that that it is recognizable. So I'm going to change the kerning from auto to optical, and then I'm going to go in and just kind of play around, so I'm going to speed up this portion of the video. All right, so as we are actually butting up this text up against this letter A, what we want to do is we want to make sure that there's a nice flow going from the A into the rest of the phrase right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all the way up to about right here, because we want the first impression of the letter itself to be right up against it and then pushed away, probably about a 1/4 inch or so, and then we'll take a look and see how the rest of it goes. So that's good right there. We've got a nice clean line that we've got that's separating the A and then the rest of the phrase right there. And then I'm going to ungroup all of this, group these together, and I made sure that these lines of text, the one that says king and court, are nicely aligned, but I want to make sure that the other ones are aligned with each other as well. There we go. So we're going to align it to that, so that way we have that nice clean line that's just kind of running down both sides of the text there. All right, so now that we have this exactly as we want it, right here, I do like the size of everything. I'm going to go ahead, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this real quick. I want to make sure that I get my Y value exactly where I want it. So I like the top of the A right here, how it's kind of curving, and then I'd like it to kind of flow into the rest of the phrase right there. So like almost to where you could draw a nice curved line and just kind of see where it would naturally progress right there if you were to make a curve out of it. So I like that. So I'm gonna group all of this together, and then let's go back to our 3 and 4 right here for our X and our Y, and then I'm gonna go all the way out and then bring it in by maybe 3 inches right there. Or actually, I might do this right here to where we kind of favor the right side a little bit when it comes to this. So that's pretty cool. And let's go to IMDb and get some information on the movie. There you go, a whopping 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb. It's one of those things where I just don't really care. I've always loved the movie since I was a kid, and you know, it's not The Godfather, it's not The Shawshank Redemption, but it's a fun little movie. So what I want to do here is like a large initial drop cap, which is something I haven't done in a long time, actually. But it's something that I did a lot when I was in design school. So so that was nice, and a nice little fun throwback there. So what I'm going to do here is I've taken this lowercase l and I'm going to make like a little line out of it. Bring it down to about right here. Oops. There we go. Send that to the back. And then I'm going to grab the anchor points here and we're going to go like this. Just kind of a little bit in. Right there, you don't want to go exactly aligned left with the O right there because that's not the way that they used to do it. All right, so now I've got to make sure that I go back in and change this S back. That way it's not running into that bar. So that little tagline right there, I always liked it when it was. I think it was on the VHS that I saw either that or I saw it on the poster when I was a kid. But I always thought it was funny. All right, so now it's time to apply the color palette, and I think I'm going to take this into Photoshop and apply some kind of effects to it. That's actually pretty cool. I like this old, like this very vintage type of yellow. This is something like you would see like an old poster of the Wizard of Oz or something like from the 30s and 40s. And I love the balance of the yellow and this red right here. I think it works really well. And for the colors right here, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this gray-ish color that's kind of leaning into like a brown or something like that. So I think I'm actually gonna get a little bit closer to that and just kind of maybe go into like a more of a brown color. There we go. I think that's better. All right, so I'm here on Google Images, so I'm going here to medieval paper texture on here, and I'd like to find something, like just kind of get an idea. Obviously, I want something that doesn't have any type of watermark on it. That would look a lot better for my poster here. I've got some textures that are kind of like this, but not exactly any that are like really jumping out at me. But I do like this one, if I can just get it to load. All right, so it took about 10,000 years, but this one finally loaded. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to go into Photoshop, create my document here. Let's see what I do, 18 by 27. Yeah, 27. All right, so I'm going to first drop this in. It's going to rotate it, and then bring us up to the full size of the canvas. All right, so now let's go ahead and grab our artwork. And I selected everything except for that background. All right, so we've got our artwork kind of laying on top of this here. Obviously, we need to blend this with the paper, but first what I want to do is I want to go and grab this yellow swatch right here. I do want to try laying a solid color maybe on top of it and just kind of let that color blend in with the paper. Sometimes you can get really nice effects going on here. I'd like to, okay, that's pretty interesting right there, although it is kind of burning it out a little bit. That's better. Soft light is nice. All right, so soft light ended up being the best one out of all of the blending modes, so I'm just going to go with that one there. All right, so now I'm going to put this no, actually, no, I'm going to put it underneath our paper, and that way we're going to let the paper actually blend into the artwork itself. So I want to get a good close-up of how everything looks. I'd like to preserve the colors as much as possible, so we're going to try to do that. Linear Burn is doing a good job of preserving those colors and then also showing the texture in the text itself. I do like difference right here, although I'm not a big fan of what it's doing here in creating these blues. So I'm going to just undo that. And always try inverting your colors, especially with exclusion and difference. All right, so I think that we're going to stick with Linear Burn because that's actually preserving the colors the way that we want them to. Since we have a few artifacts here, especially in the bottom right corner, you got things like this right here, like, it's kind of blown out a little bit. I'd like to put a nice layer of grain above this just to kind of hide some of those artifacts and just kind of help them blend in with everything. I'm going to go up here to Camera Raw Filter. I'm going to probably go all the way up to 100 for the grain, and then we'll just go like maybe 50 and then 25. And since this is like an older document, I am going to do a vignette of like -25. So we'll just kind of throw overlay on this. Let's see if that's the best one. Most of the time it is. Sometimes multiply is really good, although it does tend to just kind of darken things a little bit too much. So I think that overlay is going to be our best bet in terms of having those shadows show up. I did duplicate this just to kind of double the effect a little bit. I just wanted to see how that looked. I actually do like the way that it looks because it kind of makes it look a little bit more like a mystery. So that's pretty cool. And then in terms of the typography, you can see right here we've got the texture going into the type right here. However, it is a little bit too clean. So if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know what I'm about to do. Just to kind of make this blend into the paper a little bit more, we're going to go to Blur and then Gaussian Blur. And even doing something like a 3 right here, you can see, and I just pointed to my monitor because I'm awesome. So what we're doing right here is we're taking the text and we're just kind of helping it bleed into the actual paper itself. That way it doesn't look like it's just clean text sitting on top of our textured paper. 3, maybe a little bit too much. We can easily go to 2, and we can still have that effect with the large and the smaller type. Most of the time, I do like to separate them, just to keep different levels of intensity there. But overall, I really am liking the way that this looks right here. So this is my Kid in King Arthur's Court movie poster. So I guess it could stand in place of an actual promo poster that, you know, could have been released before the movie, or just as a fan-made movie poster after the movie came out. All right, well, I'll put it right here so you can actually take a look at it as I do my closing monologue here. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make this poster. It was a lot of fun. I really like this style, and it's something that I don't really do a lot of, is like black letter and like Gothic type of lettering. So that was really cool to work with that and kind of experiment with it and everything. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you learned something from it. If you like it, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks a lot for watching, and thank you so much for all of you subscribers out there. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.